This ain't one of them times you can slide by what you say that you gonna do. Put your money up, run that phase, I'm just showing proof. You know the vibes, partner. Ain't got no wins up in my casa, clowning the day, gone in la mañana. I've been on fire lately, train my spirit, mind and body daily. Victory is sweet, that's the science, baby. It's only right we represent from Tampa to Tally. And keep the pressure on these ops, they cardio lacking. Till you flapping on the canvas and bobbing, you're weaving, unleashing the fury on your face while the audience screaming. Hope they got great seats or the pay-per-view. Let's get the breakdown from J, DJ, and Q. You know the vibes. Yeah. You know the vibes. You know the vibes.
For his next fight, and I never heard anything about Mike Tyson stepping up saying anything because I know him and Fury has a special bond and connection. He was named after Mike Tyson, but that in a perfect world, I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong if it is a connection, but we'll say Tyson. We'll say Mayweather stepped out and put his name out there saying that he would like to counsel and train Wilder also. But I do know that George Foreman has had dialogue with Wilder. I know that they have had back and forth about it. So out of those three names, I don't know about anybody else, but out of those three names, who would you guys think, or who would you guys, go with if you was Wilder as far as, championing his comeback, you know what I'm saying, as far as the comeback and fight Fury the third time, the trilogy, for all the marbles. Who would you go with? We'll go with you first, JD. Who you think?
Man, it would have to be the man right behind me, man, Iron Mike Tyson.
Okay.
The reason why I would say that, even though I know Tyson hasn't, fully come out and stated, that he would be fully willing to be a part of Deontay Wilder's camp, I think he is the most, assuming again with this, I'm assuming that Wilder's true to his word and wanted to go immediately into the third fight. So assuming that Wilder's not trying to take 2 years, 3 years to kind of bounce back, get his bearings under him, and then go at another Fury fight. If he's going immediately back into it, I would have to say I have to roll with Iron Mike Tyson. With Mayweather, first off, I don't know that it's very genuine, first off, when it comes to Mayweather trying to offer help to Wilder. But then even if Mayweather was genuine and trying to offer him some boxing skills to kind of increase his boxing IQ, I feel like that will legitimately take about probably 2 years and about 4 or 5 fights to honestly work on some of those skills to really actually utilize them against Tyson Fury, which some people would even argue at this advanced age that Wilder is in his 30s, that even in a fight, if he tries, he'll just revert back to what he always knows. So the argument for Mayweather, I kind of can't see it. I can see the George Foreman thing. I mean, I like George Foreman as an advisor, and we know that they have spoken on the phone, after he took the L to Fury. But, I would really be going towards Tyson, because right now to go back into this third fight, I feel like Wilder has to work on what is his strong suit. And we all know his strong suit is athleticism and power. And one of the all-time greats that we've ever seen with athleticism and power is Iron Mike Tyson. I mean, even, watching him hit the mitts now, at age 53, I think the video just came out of him hitting mitts now. You can see it's crazy what muscle memory is. I mean, this man 53 years old, still looking, like he was when he was younger. So I would like to see Wilder connect with somebody else who also was special as far as athleticism and power, because for Iron Mike to be 5'10", 5'11", tangling with grown 6'4", 6'5" men, you knew that was a real special athlete. And I feel like Wilder is an athlete. And I feel like if he could hone in on a few more wrinkles, that might give him a better shot. And I think Mike Tyson could get that to him.
Right. No doubt. What you say about it, Jay?
Hey man, I always got a little different twist on things. I remember, and I say this because I was one of the few people who say it. I'm gonna keep, every time y'all see this podcast, I'm gonna keep saying that shit. I was one of the few people who said there was a very high chance of Deontay Wilder getting knocked out. but I've always maintained the fact that even before the second fight even happened, I said it's very good possibility he's gonna get knocked out, but we're gonna see the best Wilder in the third fight. I feel a little bit shaky about that because if your ass need a UN meeting for a boxing match, your ass on shaky ground. Because I've never heard somebody having a counsel. You need a corner man. You need a clear voice. So I don't think Mike Tyson would be a good choice. I don't think George Foreman would be a good choice. I think somebody who has his build and needs to teach him the tools at his height that he needs to defend himself. Because once you get past that jab and that right hand, it's Tyson Fury figured it out. The French fighter, I just hate calling him a French fighter, but he was one of the few heavyweights I remember fighting that came out of France. He figured that out. If you can survive the left, if you can survive the jab and the right hand, you can actually get in and touch Deontay Wilder, and he has no defense for it. So I don't think there's a counsel, but I do think there's one man that can assist him, and I think that's the Lion, Lennox, the Lion Lewis.
This man popping with somebody. Go ahead.
It was A, B, and C, and you come up with
D.
Listen, because I don't think. Okay, so we remember George. So we remember George Foreman. Biggest fights. His fight with Frazier came out slugging and just really demolished Joe Frazier. We remember when he was outfoxed and outwitted by Muhammad Ali. And then we remember for his fight against Michael Moore when he was at an elevated age, man, and hit him with a miracle 1-2 and put him out. I don't think any of that will be useful. So I just don't think a Tyson will be useful just because the athleticism is different and the build is different. I don't think what Tyson was able to do inside and defensively fit Tyson. I don't think the way Deontay Wilder fights and he's built and how his athleticism projects itself in the ring, I don't think he's even built for that. So I don't think any of those fighters, anybody named, or especially Floyd Mayweather, because he's immediately X'd out, and not because I don't think it's genuine, but if you need to take care of heavyweight business, you need a heavyweight, especially if you if you want somebody in there to kind of say, hey, when he leaning on you, do this. When you know what I'm saying? Because KOs are quite frequent in the heavyweight division. There's some things you can do in the welterweight division you can't do as a heavyweight. Go ahead, Q.
I agree with you 100% though. Lennox Lewis will be the guy. I just haven't heard, it wasn't presented. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, but I do know I have seen video from old Tyson.
Yes.
When he was showing them how to snap the jab.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
And so you are. I think you're right with the skill set, with the side, with the size, because Lennox Lewis is a technician and he got the power. But I just feel like, yeah, he'll probably be the best. But the reason I say George Foreman will be more so because I know they've had dialogue, so they have a mutual respect for each other. And George Foreman has lost bad when he was a favorite, against Ali, and I think he had like two layoffs, and he's came back and been victorious or whatever. And so just from the mental standpoint of it, and I'm sure he could give us, because George Foreman is way better technically than Fury, even he's not Lennox Lewis, but he light years ahead of Wilder. I'm talking about Fury. Wilder as far as boxing skills and fundamentals. So I just feel like he has two things to offer. He could help him, set that punch up, and he could give him some game on, whatever he did to persevere to come back and not let it affect his psyche, because boxing is mental. You know what I'm saying? It's a large part of it mental. So I that's why I went with it, and I was happy that they had dialogue. But I said he needs somebody. He'll be the best. He'll be the best, I feel. But I like George Foreman out of, because Florida is, come on, brother. Like that was clout chasing to me, because you never supported this man. He was a threat, because they were asking him, do we think he could, because he was like 40-0, and he had like 39 knockouts or 38 knockouts, and so obviously that's something, he ain't made the money, he don't got the famous Floyd, but that says a lot in the heavyweight division. And so I feel like Floyd jealousy, he would never come out and say anything positive about Wilder until he lost. Now you want to say you were helping me, you on his side. So, you know, Lord, man, that's rubbish. You know, I don't even, you know, I only said that because it was presented in a question out of respect.
Yeah, no, I'm not. You know, I agree with you. I think it's not very disingenuous to for him to come out and say that. But if we set that aside, because we can't ever, you know, just tell some, you know, say what somebody's intentions are.
Yeah,
if it's just from a what's in his heart. So if it's just from the technical aspect of it, I agree. If we only gonna stay confined to these three choices, that is George Foreman. I think George Foreman has transformed his career from being the bully to being more of a tactician. And when some of his athleticism left him, and then when he started facing bigger heavyweights, because as time went on, heavyweights got bigger. And George Foreman, even though he fought a smaller Michael Moore, I mean, he wasn't the only fighter he fought during this time period. So, yeah, George Foreman's a good pick. But I think more so than anything, I think Deontay Wilder needs to understand that anybody can give you advice, right?
Oh yeah.
But if they don't address the real problem, and which is why I mentioned Lennox Lewis, because I think you and I shared that video, and you might have shared it in the group chat where we saw, and he was teaching them. You know, there was this out in the street. He was teaching them because one of the things I will say about Deontay Wilder is, and I've taken note of this. I want to say the total rounds boxed between the knockouts, he's fought 36 rounds, and his past, I want to say 4 fights. He's lost 28 of those rounds. Right? The secret's out. Tyson, and the reason why I say the secret's out is because I know you and I, Q, got in the debate when he first was fighting Luis Ortiz, and I was telling you, there's a fighter who exposed him, but nobody's really taking note because they're just so odd by the knockout power. Once you get inside the castle, once you get in the gates, he ain't got nothing for you. And I think Tyson Fury, and that's why I felt like there was a potential of a knockout, because if Tyson Fury presses the action and he gets in, Wilder can't do anything. And I think the best fighter to address that would be Lennox Lewis. So out of the three, George Foreman would be the best, but until somebody in Wilder's camp addresses what to do on the inside, when somebody gets past that jab and right hand, I really don't think you can have the whole you in there. It won't matter.
And you know what, man, I will say, man, and I was shocked, man, when we witnessed firsthand what happened with Wilder Fury 2. And I will say, man, we're gonna clap it up for Jay. Clap it up for you, my dog.
I take a lot of L's, but I'll take that one.
You know what I mean?
I'll take that one.
Clap it up. I will say, even when me and Q we were in Vegas, and I talked to Jay, I'm like, damn, no, Fury done ballooned up even heavier, brother. It's crazy, man. He ain't been training. He ain't been doing so. In my mind, I'm like, man, wait a minute. What would make this man Fury blow up even bigger? Because he came in even heavier than the first fight. And so at that point, I'm thinking, all right. And this is where I kind of think Tyson might be able to, in a way, help. I don't know if he can, because my natural thought would be, and we'll see what happens in the third fight, is that Tyson Fury, even though I know he could outbox me, right? If I know you're coming in that heavy, you're gonna have to show me what kind of shape you in, bro. You're gonna have to show me. We're gonna see who still got stamina in the 12th round. And I believe that's kind of what happened in the first fight, where we saw Fury thoroughly outbox Deontay about the whole fight. And then what was it? Was it 11? What round was it when he beat back Fury down the 12th round?
12. I think it was 12.
Yeah.
No. It was. Oh, you talking about the first or the second?
The first fight. No, the first fight.
The first fight.
The first.
No, first or the second night, because there was 2 knockdowns.
The last knockdown.
Yeah, the last knockdown. The last knockdown.
Okay, yeah, 12.
Yeah, 12 rounds. So
it was a spell, man.
I was sitting here thinking, after watching that first fight, I thought that, okay, this spells trouble for Fury, because if you're already a heavyweight, and naturally, just, from a physical standpoint, man, the heavier you are, the harder it is to have that stamina. That's just a fact when you're talking about heavyweight fighters. So when he came in like that, I really didn't expect it to go that way. So I really got to give kudos to Fury because he added on weight and he got Wilder out of there. But
Crunk Jim, Emmanuel Stewart lineage, baby. Crunk Jim, man.
And that's why I feel like, man, Wilder has something that he could lean on that could possibly get him the W. And that's leaning on his athleticism and power. And I think Tyson can get him there, man. If he learns a few wrinkles, drag that fight back into the deep water and see what can happen in the championship rounds.
Something else that nobody else talks about. Wilder fucking gained like 18 pounds. You understand? He's the heaviest he ever been in that fight.
That's true. That's true.
And you know that was something also. I'm not sure if that really played a factor, but I'm saying it is something. It is something, and he don't use enough fucking excuses anyway. So we don't even want to throw that in there.
I'm gonna throw it in there because anybody. I mean, you don't have to be a top tier athlete. Anybody who's active, like I'm active. I'm always active. You'll be surprised what the slightest thing can throw off your performance.
That's
zap your energy. Does anybody remember a fight with Vladimir Klitschko and Layman Bruce? I think it was
Layman Bruce.
And Klitschko just said he was winning the fight, dominating. He said, "I don't know what happened. He just felt like all the energy left." So I'm not with that. I thought it was pretty unfair of Roy Jones, who between him and Pacquiao, man, listen, when it comes to them, they're the greatest fight. My favorite fighters in my mind. I can't nobody tell me different. But I thought it was a bit unfair when Roy kind of came out and was like, man, I done did this. I done played basketball before a game. Well, he was never truly a heavyweight. And then we all saw what happened when he fluctuated in weight and he fought Tarver. We can all agree that he's a way better fighter than Tarver. And he had a very special excuse when he lost his third fight here in Tampa to Tarver. So with Wilder, he put on those 18 pounds and then he had a 40-pound weightless whatever outfit on. And I'm gonna tell you right now, your legs do, as you know, our podcast might not know, our podcast viewers might not know, I was in the Army. Man, you put on 40 pounds on your ruck and you walk a little bit too long, your legs are dead before you realize it. And I've never actually competed in an event. So carrying weight, and then you think about it, he's carrying into the ring 50, 60 more pounds than he's ever had. So it's one of those things that it's on Wilder for not being as prepared as he could. So I don't give him any excuse for that. But I do think it's legitimate to his performance. Now, the big thing is, and I think the simplest thing is, for somebody being able to teach him is not even necessarily the mechanics of throwing a punch from the inside or doing all this, because I think we might be a little past that. I think it's a few years down the line for him to really be an effective fighter on the inside. They need to teach him how to grapple and neutralize on the inside. I think that would do a lot for him as far as being able to get people off him and reset back up so he can start throwing those big punches.
Right. His footwork got to get better also. You know what I'm saying? His footwork, and plus, you know, him setting up his punches, but the spaces, the pockets, with his unique athleticism, he should be able to get in pockets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he should be able to get places and maneuver and be able to you know, the small things, the angles, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, timing, footwork. He need to work on that. You know what I'm saying? And because you're trying to load, you can't just depend on that one big punch. Bro. You can't do that. You got to be able to set it up.
And when y'all talking about pockets and angles, Iron Mike Tyson, bro. You're talking about pockets and angles.
But Mike Tyson is like on a fucking. That's a whole, like the level that Mike Tyson is on, bro. It don't get me wrong. You know, everything helps, but it's like it might be. Sometimes you could be damn defeated just by the level of like what Mike Tyson can do. Like it's crazy because Mike Tyson is just so advanced in on that level, man. Even right now, how you and that could do something to you. You might need somebody that's not that athletic because that could be, you know, definite to your self-esteem seeing Tyson even right now, because that cat crazy. He's crazy how he moves.
Right. And to Jay's point, man, he definitely has to increase his ability to fight on the inside. And that's why I feel like, man, all Mike Tyson needs to teach him is that quick step around. And honestly, who really has the best one I've seen in the game today is Lomachenko. But of course, you're talking about the heavyweight division. But if he could just learn a quick step around, I feel like that can really, you know, a quick step around, man, I think that'll work.